Good afternoon and welcome to the regularly scheduled City Commission meeting for Tuesday, June the 10th, 2025. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have a call for attendance, please?
Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Here.
Commissioner Witt.
Here.
Commissioner Hargis. Mayor Staten.
Here. First up, we have a recognition of new employees.
Yes, so if I can invite Mr. Sam Lingerfeld and Mr. Ty Bogus up to the podium, please. If you'd like to introduce Mr. Bogus for us.
Hello, my name is Sam. I'm the Safety and Training Coordinator for the city. So this is our third year of having an intern. So this is, the safety intern's been helping me out do a lot of safety stuff, inspections and fire extinguishers and things. So don't you know who you are?
I'm Ty.
He's a local kid.
Yeah, I was here last summer doing the same thing.
You were here last summer.
Yeah, so I came back. I'm studying occupational safety and health at Murray State. I'm involved with student government there. I'm involved in Greek life there. I'm in a couple safety clubs. So.
Sam, when are you retiring?
February 27th, or earlier or later.
Or is that next year?
Yes,
That's
sir.
not next year, is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, are you leaving us next
But
year?
a lot of it depends. There's a lot of, my date is February 27th.
Yeah.
But there's some circumstances that we may make it a little bit shorter or may extend it.
Gotcha.
So-
Well, Sam does a good job. You've got a really good mentor. You have any questions for us about working in the city? I know you're an old veteran now.
Yeah, kind of used to it by now.
Yeah?
I got it mostly figured out. I learn new stuff every day from this guy. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being with us. We appreciate it.
Welcome back.
Got a good guy training you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. All right, and then if I can invite Miss Holly Blandford and Miss Jackie Arroyo to the podium, please.
Hi there. I am so excited to introduce you guys to my intern for this summer, Miss Jackie. Jackie and I originally met through the City Junior Ambassador Program, and she is a recent graduate of Henderson County High School with plans to attend Henderson Community College this fall. So we're excited that she wants to stay local. It's a big deal. It's been kind of a fun experience for me so far. This is her second week because I was once the city PR intern, and so I was like, life comes at you fast. Now I have my own intern. So we're just excited to have Jackie with us. She's been really helpful with getting the vision plan updated and getting out some stuff on social media. So I'm just excited to continue to teach her a little bit about government communications.
Jackie, what's been your favorite thing about working here so far?
Definitely working with Holly.
Yeah?
She's a great mentor, so yeah.
Good deal. And if anybody wants to learn more about Jackie and her plans and her life and stuff like that, you can listen to the May episode of Municipal Matters because she was one of our graduate guests on Municipal Matters.
Was.
We
Yes, she
appreciate
was.
that. Welcome to the city.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, we have two public hearings. The first public hearing that we are going to hear is for a recreational trails grant. Dylan, are you the proper person to describe that a little
Yeah,
more?
I
Do we
can.
have somebody that can tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think.
There we go.
Well, Jeannie Quattrochi, she's our project coordinator who's overseeing the project. She's outside making sure people get signed up. But I can talk a little bit about it. We're applying for a grant to install basically a walking trail or walking path around the initial ball diamond at the sports complex. It was something that we allocated space for in the master plan, and so with Ms. Quattrochi on board, we've kind of been seeking out funding sources for different projects that we're already kind of pursuing or looking into. And so when this grant opened up, we kind of looked internally at some of the things that we already had planned that might fit into that, and this was one of those projects we thought would bring added value to the sports complex and something that we hope to do eventually anyway. So Jeannie, I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add. The question just was, what is this grant exactly and what are we applying for? So.
Yeah, so this is the Recreational Trails Grant. It's through the Federal Highway Administration. It would be an 80-20 match, and we talked about it at the last commission meeting, I believe.
We did.
So this is just to elicit public comment from the public.
All right, well, thank you. And for the purposes of today, what we will do is open the public hearing. When I open the public hearing, if anyone present would like to say anything at all for or against or about this particular issue, now would be the time to come up to the podium. I am officially going to open the public hearing. Seeing no interest in speaking, I will officially close the public hearing. And Dawn, we don't have anything else to vote on this particular issue today. This is just a hearing before we have to vote on something maybe later. Is that correct? Yes. All right, thank you. And we have need for another public hearing, and that is the Municipal Road Aid and LGEA funds. Dylan, you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this is another annual thing. This is an annual thing that we do, and for our road funding. And what we've provided, it's in your all's agenda packet as well. But we've put up the proposed paving list for next fiscal year. And so what you'll see there is, it's kind of a little hard to see, but it is in your agenda packet as well. You'll see some items highlighted yellow there. I know we've made a concerted effort to hit some of our older streets, and a lot of those streets fall in our inner city or the east end. And so what you'll see in yellow is highlighted from what we consider our inner city area. Well over a third of our funding for this next year is coming from that area, and so we just wanted to point that out to you. Mr. Williams is in the audience as well. He's the one who helps put this list together along with our engineering staff, and so we try to do a pretty good spread throughout the city, try to touch different areas. But as you can see here, there's several streets in the inner city that need attention. And then also one thing I will note on this is, so a couple of these streets there's asterisks beside, which you can't really see on there, but in particular Washington Street and South Alvasia Street, because the Henderson Water Utility has been doing their sewer project. And so there's been a lot of streets that they have cut as part of that project. And so we have worked with Mr. Bart Bowles to come up with a plan for when that project is complete. And Bart, if you have anything to add, feel free to speak up. But to repave those streets once that project is complete. Typically what we like to do is wait a season or so before we pave in case there's any settlement issues, so that doesn't show up in the final pavement. So the projects the street paving projects that are directly tied to their project will probably be done in the spring. Is that correct, Mr. Williams? Yeah, I see him nodding his head. So, and so these budget amounts are just the city's portion. Those streets we'll split 50-50 with the water utility. And so the remaining 50% of, Washington Street, for example, is $35,000. The water utility will spend $35,000 of their funds to pay the other half. It'll all be done together, but we work closely with them to budget those projects.
We're going behind ourselves right now and pouring concrete. That'll already be there, so you want to worry about the settling once we finish. We'll go back over that when we're finished and pave that. So
perfect.
Well, 3 quick things before we open the public hearing. First, if the water department is going to split 50-50 the roads that they affect, we ought to do more water projects. Second, I'm really happy you pointed out the inner city roads. We've got a local fiction writer on Facebook who had some questions about inner city roads and if we were going to be funding those or something, so that'll answer his questions. And then third, I just wanted to point out before we open this hearing, this is the second year in a row of a 5-year plan that the city is adding 10% compounded each and every year of those 5 years to our roads budget. Because at the end of the day, roads are one of the most fundamental things that we take care of as a city, and we want to make sure that we keep up with inflation and actually surpass what inflation has done to our ability to provide roads and services and get to a point where we're doing even more than what we're capable of today. So I am going to open the public hearing. If anyone would like to speak for or against or about municipal road aid or LGEA funds, once I bang the gavel, it will be time to come up to the podium and share your thoughts. And I am now officially opening the public hearing. Seeing no interest in speaking on this particular matter, we will now officially close the public hearing. Thank you. Next up on the agenda, we have a consent agenda.
The consent agenda consists of the minutes of the May 20th, 2025 called work session, the May 27th, 2025 regular meeting, and the June 2nd, 2025 called work session with the Vision Plan Committee, resolution number 40-25, resolution approving human resources report dated June 10th, 2025, resolution 41-25, resolution approving municipal road aid cooperative agreement with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of city streets in fiscal year 2025 and 2026, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city. and Resolution Number 42-25, a resolution of the City of Henderson, Kentucky, authorizing application for and acceptance of funding under the Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act, Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program to supplement development of a regional action plan and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents.
Do we have a motion, or excuse me, before we get a motion, do we have any items that any commissioner would like to pull for further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have a second reading of an ordinance adopting public utility improvements.
Ordinance number 20-25, an ordinance accepting public improvements. Ordinance accepting public utility improvements, water and sewer main for River's Edge in the city of Henderson.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance adopting HWU's budget and appropriations.
Ordinance number 21-25, ordinance adopting Henderson Water Utility Budget, budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026 for Henderson Water Utility of the city of Henderson, Kentucky.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And this is a second reading, so we had a little discussion last time, but even so, do we have any other questions, comments, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance amending the fiscal 2025 budget and appropriations ordinance.
Ordinance number 22-25, ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance. An ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025 for the city of Henderson, Kentucky. Whereas on June 11th, 2024, the city of Henderson adopted its annual budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025, being ordinance number 27-24.
We need to get the volume turned up. Yeah. If we're going to use it, we need to hear it. Dawn, I've never paused anybody in the middle of reading something. Is there anything special I need to do? We just pick up? Are we good? Travis, are we good?
Yeah, you may restart it.
Okay. Yeah, if we could just restart it from the beginning, that'd be great. Thank you.
Ordinance number 22-25, ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance. An ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025 for the city of Henderson, Kentucky. Whereas on June 11th, 2024, the city of Henderson adopted its annual budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025, being ordinance number 27-24. And whereas on February 25th, 2025, the city of Henderson amended its annual budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2024, being ordinance number 12-25. And whereas the city manager recommends that the following additional amendments be adopted, now therefore be it ordained by the city of Henderson, Kentucky, that ordinance number 12-25 is amended as follows. Information technology is amended to $1,274,550. Other is amended to $4,077,550. Transfers are amended to $8,221,000, and the total general fund is amended to $47,794,000. 2, there is hereby appropriated for the general and special fund accounts of the city of Henderson and allocated to the various funds of the city the following amounts. General fund expenditure total, $39,573,000. Transfer to PWI, $1,851,000, transfer to bond fund, $2,445,000, and the total general fund amended amount is $47,794,000. The bond fund is $9,726,000. Public way improvement fund is amended to $2,603,000. 3, the number and classifications of city employees as recited in the annual budget is approved as presented. 4, the city manager is authorized to hire an additional 2 police officers when it is deemed necessary by the chief of police and the city manager due to the length of training necessary for this position. 5, the city manager is authorized to hire an additional 1 firefighter when it is deemed necessary by the fire chief and the city manager due to the length of training necessary for this position. 6, the city manager is authorized to hire additional non-hazardous duty personnel for key positions when deemed necessary for succession training purposes, and the expenditures for the additional hires do not exceed the appropriations granted. 7, this ordinance shall be effective as of July 1st, 2024. This ordinance of amendment shall become effective upon its legal adoption.
Thank you, Jess. I didn't even see your lips move. That was impressive. Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Dylan, I've got a question to start things. So it was our intention to include 3 extra positions for the police department to take them from 57 to 60. Is that in the budget?
So that is in the proposed one, yes.
In the obviously, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
so
right,
sorry.
yeah. No.
So save that, and I'll ask the exact same question in about 10 minutes, all right? Does anybody have any questions, comments, suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance adopting the fiscal 2026 budget and appropriation ordinance. Sorry for not reading that correctly the first time.
Ordinance number 23-25, ordinance adopting budget and appropriation ordinance for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026 for the city of Henderson, Kentucky. Whereas the city manager has prepared a proposed annual budget for fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026 pursuant to KRS 83A.150, and whereas KRS 91A.030 requires the adoption of the budget and the appropriation ordinance by the Board of Commissioners based upon the budget submitted by the city manager. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Henderson, Kentucky as follows. 1, the budget submitted to the Board of Commissioners by the city manager is hereby adopted and approved, and said budget is incorporated herein by reference, and 3 copies thereof signed by the mayor shall be kept on file in the office of the city clerk as part of the public record of the city. 2, there is hereby appropriated from the general and special fund accounts of the city of Henderson and allocated to the various funds of the city the following amounts. General fund expenditure total, $41,658,000. Transfer to PWI, $1,483,000. Transfer to mass transit, $665,000. Transfer to construction fund, $874,000. Transfer to emergency communications, $887,000. Transfer to police and fire pension, $316,000. Transfer to civil service pension, $74,000. Transfer to cemetery, $388,000. Transfer to bond fund, $3,068,000. Transfer to sports complex, $292,000, for a total general fund amount of $49,705,000. Natural gas fund, $20,186,000. Health reimbursement arrangement, $140,000. Civil service pension fund, $80,000. Police and fire pension fund, $316,000. Cemetery fund, $649,000. Health insurance fund, $8,815,000. Bond fund, $10,302,000. Public way improvement fund, $2,315,000. Construction fund, $15,764,000. Heart operating fund, $1,917,000. Sanitation fund, $5,849,000. Emergency communications fund, $2,653,000. Sports complex fund, $1,121,000. Tourism commission fund, $350,000. Community development fund, $826,000, and police investigation fund for $75,000. 3, the number and classifications of city employees as recited in the annual budget is approved as presented. 4, the city manager is authorized to hire an additional 2 police officers when it is deemed necessary by the chief of police and the city manager due to the length of training necessary for this position. 5, the city manager is authorized to hire an additional 1 firefighter when it is deemed necessary by the fire chief and the city manager due to the length of training necessary for this position. 6, the city manager is authorized to hire additional non-hazardous duty personnel for key positions when deemed necessary for succession training purposes, and the expenditures for the additional hires do not exceed the appropriations granted. 7, this ordinance shall become effective as of July 1st, 2025.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I kind of got ahead of myself, and I apologize, but So going back, we had 57 was the complement at the police department, and we had intentions of making that 60 and bringing that up 3 positions. And I just wanted to ask and see if that made it into the budget.
We did increase the number of authorized police officers for the department by 3.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments about, I know we've been working on the budget for months now, but anybody have any additional questions or comments or anything related to the budget? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order approving a memorandum of understanding with Habitat for Humanity.
Municipal Order Number 46-25, municipal order approving memorandum of understanding between the City of Henderson and Habitat for Humanity of the Henderson, Kentucky regarding the creation of a program to address issues of blight and vacant lots in the inner city under the Inner City Improvement Plan and authorizing the mayor to execute the MOU on behalf of the city.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Matt, Brittany, you want to come to the podium, please? So this is another project we've been working on for a long period of time.
Yes,
And Matt, I think you were the director of the Inner City Improvement Plan Committee for Affordable Housing and Blight last year.
I've been relieved of my duties, but
Yeah.
yes, I have. I did serve 2 years as a, yes.
And this was the marquee project that came out of that group. Can you tell us a little bit more about this project and what we're looking at?
Absolutely. From the very start of that inner city committee, no matter which topics that we were given, no matter which topics we tried to make work, the group, especially with specificity of those members of the group that live within the inner city, always brought us back to the elimination of blighted areas, creation of affordable housing. So that project, with our voices, I know that Dr. Michelle Chappelle was instrumental in voicing that forward, along with several others, and this sort of came to fruition. Habitat, for the last 3 fiscal years, Habitat has spent in excess of $100,000, which on this particular type of project, which sort of is a detriment to our cash flow. So partnering with the city is going to not only help Habitat, but also maximize what we're able to do, and hopefully make a noticeable difference very quickly in trying to get as much of these properties as possible. Because based on the last 2 fiscal years, Habitat is completing 6 homes a year. This year, we are projected to complete 7, but also next fiscal year, we'll be working on 13. Now, some of those will be carryovers from this fiscal year, and some of them will be carryovers into the following fiscal year. But if that's the case, we are going to need to acquire, at a minimum, 8 properties per year in perpetuity, which our historical average, our best year, would be acquiring 6. So hopefully this project will help with that.
Gotcha. And then from our standpoint, typically on a typical budget year, the city allocates up to $50,000 to go toward blight and similar programs across the city, not just in the inner city. And so what this agreement will do is lock us in for 5 years. The city will, instead of contributing $50,000, will contribute $100,000, and that will match a $100,000 contribution from Habitat that will remain consistent and there and usable. And so that'll take our number from 50 to 200. It is going to be used directly to acquire properties, to eliminate blight, and also to ramp up affordable housing efforts in the inner city. So you're kind of attacking it, or we're kind of attacking it from both ends, eliminating blight and providing affordable housing to a greater extent than what we're able to today.
Absolutely. And just
Yeah.
want to make sure of one concern that a few people have had. I just want to make sure that I address it because it was something I addressed early on. Just because we have this money doesn't mean we're going to pay more
Yeah.
for these type of work. We're still going to try to maintain frugality and do our due diligence to acquire these properties. We just hope to acquire more of them, not pay more for the same amount. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that.
Absolutely, and we're not in a position without leverage, so to speak. We're not desperately trying to go out and acquire property so you can double your price for what we're going to get. If you're asking on a reasonable price, we just won't address that issue right at the beginning.
Absolutely.
But thank you. This is I'm excited to vote on this. Are there any questions or comments? I know we've talked about this particular project for a while. Are there any questions or comments?
One thing that hasn't been addressed is the lots that are acquired. If there is a local developer or a developer who might be interested in one of those lots, they can come to a committee under this MOU and work to purchase it. So for the amount of money that the city and Habitat has in it, including any demolition costs or things like
And just
that.
to piggyback on what Don's saying, there'll be two committees within this memorandum. First committee is acquisition. That'll be 2 members from Habitat and 1 member from the city. What she's speaking of, the potential sale of to someone who submits a dossier with an approvable project, will have 2 members from the city and 1 Habitat member to vote on that part. So there will be 2 committees formed from this MOU.
And all of these lots will have a deed restriction that they have to be constructed on within 40 years.
And what was the name of, one was acquisition, what was the name of the other committee?
I wrote it.
Basically, I can't remember the name of it, but it had something, it was indicative of
Yeah.
if we were going to not use it for the proposed,
Yeah,
that was the whole thing. And it was 2 city members, those are unnamed.
Yeah.
I'll talk to our board about who's going to be the Habitat representatives, but of course, I assume y'all will figure out who the city representative is.
We will, and I just wanted to let the commission know that one of these committees is the mayor or designee. If any of you all have any desire to serve on that particular committee, please do let me know, and we will figure out who our representative from the commission will be. Any other questions or comments or suggestions, anything? All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Thank you all very much, we appreciate it.
We do also mention that we have an open application round right now for 1 house on Lieber Street, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and 1 house out in Corden for a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. And we are trying to tell everyone about that. So we thought this is broadcast out, and we just
Sure.
wanted to share that as well, so people can contact us at Habitat directly. Applications are due by June 25th at noon. Is that correct, Matt? So we're just trying to use every avenue and every place that we are to let people know those are open right now. So-
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
got a question.
Yep.
The one on Adams Street, did you guys build that one that's vacant?
Which?
No, are you talking about the one,
That's
with-
the CBG.
the one with the
house.
ramp?
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
we can
that one
talk
is
with
a
you
s-
about that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one is a CDBG house. We do get a lot of calls about that
Yeah.
one. I am glad you asked that. So in a public forum, we could say, we are not the owners of that home. But again, we do just direct them to the office that does currently own that. But that's a CDBG home that was not done through Habitat. But I do get about 10 calls on it a week,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I
thank
get
you for
to-
asking
Yeah, they
again.
saying, hey, who's got that house? You know,
Yes.
Okay, I thought you guys said, okay.
Well, let's make sure to have that discussion, because
Yeah.
if is it an issue where people are calling because they're not cutting their grass and stuff like
Well,
that?
no, they was thinking about,
I was thinking about buying it.
yeah.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha,
I
gotcha.
said, I don't really, I think Habitat has it.
They'd like
Yeah,
to
that-
buy it or rent it, or we've had all sorts of questions
Yeah,
about it.
I'll
but
be
it's-
sending them,
yeah.
some of them are calling me, I'd send them to y'all. I said,
Yeah.
call Habitat. I said, that's their house, but it's my fault.
Yeah, there are people that are adamant that we own it, and they say, we saw something that says you own it. I was like,
And we are
Man, no.
we are building on South Adams Street on a couple locations, so we have, but that address we're specifically aware of now, but we do have some other projects going on South
Okay.
Adams Street too.
Thanks.
So, thank you.
I'll tell you, but before you leave the podium, just wanted to say, there's a lot of organizations that we partner with on a lot of things, and just getting to know you guys and what you're doing in the community, I just wanted to take the opportunity to say that we've got such a model Habitat for Humanity here in Henderson that other communities look to for guidance and advice and all kinds of things, because you guys are doing such a good job. And I just wanted to, on behalf of all of us, just want to say thank you.
I think Henderson should take some credit for that. I mean, it's very easy to work in Henderson for us. I mean, again, we are an entity that's able to sometimes duck under the red tape in some situations. So we're able to make things happen as long as the money's in place and as long as the people are ready to execute. We're prepared to move. So it does help when those things happen, because I do know a lot of places who are paralyzed by, well, I don't know if I can do it or not. We're just not going to do it because we don't know if we can do it. We ask all the questions and we make sure, and then, if we don't get the answers we like, we go to somebody else until we finally get the answer we like, and then we do it. That's how we operate.
So we better stop talking before you get yourself in trouble.
I'll say that out loud. It doesn't matter. I'm not scared. I mean, like I say, we don't do anything illegal.
I
We just
got
want to
it.
make sure
I
that we
got it.
execute, and we want to get as many families in need affordable housing in.
Yes, sir.
We do want to thank the city commissioners and the magistrates both. At fiscal court this morning, the Homeless Coalition was asked what, was causing homelessness, and affordable housing is one of those things, but I think that we're all working together as fast as we possibly can to try to provide as many options for people in Henderson as we can. So I'm proud of Henderson and everything that we've done. I think a lot of cities are taking a lot of what we're doing and trying to implement it where they are as well.
I
So.
got another question. The two on Pringle, the two new ones, is that y'all's?
Wait a minute.
By the store, right there by the cemetery. You're going
On the
around.
left side?
Well, no, they're on the right. If you're coming.
If you're coming onto Pringle?
Yes.
Off of?
They
So, if you're talking about the ones, you must be talking about the 1012 and 1014.
Yeah.
1028's our newest one. It's a little further up, but 1012 and 1014 were projects we did in 2022. They are newer.
Do you know how much better that looks when you turn and going down Pringle Street with
Oh,
those
absolutely.
new homes?
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, Commissioner
Thank you.
Pruitt, I want to say that we take photographs of those two homes when we go out and present to other communities about
Yes.
the mass foreclosure, because they got those
You should
properties
see them.
through the mass foreclosure.
They-
And talk about how you can use a mass foreclosure for code enforcement and for blight elimination. And Habitat was, they made those look so great. And we use those photographs all the time to
Yeah,
show
those-
what you can make it, what it looked like before and what it
And
looked like
1028
after.
came from a mass foreclosure
Yep.
as well. Actually, we
Yes.
tried to buy it years ago from the person that owned it, and they had a mortgage and many other things that we found, and but we were able to acquire that one as
We
well.
have our fingers crossed that we're able to acquire a few more from the next
Hey,
mass
don't
foreclosure.
give up, I was about to say, don't give up too much with your.
No, no, I'm just saying, we just have a couple more that we,
Yeah.
that's really gonna be fantastic projects. I mean,
Yeah.
It's gonna be fantastic, so.
It's not often that we get to vote on something that has such a tremendous impact and a payback. And I'm not gonna pretend like the payback's a year or two or any of that stuff, but, I mean, what we're doing is addressing blight, addressing affordable housing, and building homes that will make it back onto the tax rolls, that will produce income for the city in the future. And so we're able to do all those things at the same time. And I just want to say, I can't thank you guys enough for the work that you're doing on the inner city program and for that project that came out of your committee. I think it's fantastic. Thank you.
And two, most people can't, at 1,200 square feet, I figure that's kind of about where they at.
That's about right.
That's probably gonna be 1,200 square feet. It's probably close to $200,000.
Right. We've been told that our three-bedroom that's around that, I asked, just gave a few examples, Frontier, Highlander, Garden Gate, and they did say that it would be a little over 200,000 appraised value, But even so, we're getting 155 and 160 there. We still make them affordable because we're able to subsidize the first mortgage. So again, still paying those property taxes on that appraised value, but getting the reduced mortgage 25% or less of the gross household income. So
Really
we're proud to say that
Yep.
that's very important to us.
That's
so.
good.
Good work.
Like
Good
you
work.
said, putting it back on his tax roll and all that. Great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Next up, we have a municipal order approving an addendum to employment agreement.
Municipal Order Number 47-25, municipal order approving addendum to employment agreement between the City of Henderson and Timothy Clayton, Gas System Director.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So move.
We have a second?
Second.
We have any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have a joint resolution with the Henderson Fiscal Court to reconsider the proposed closure of the Earl C. Clements Job Corps Center.
Joint Resolution Number 43-25, a resolution requesting that the U.S. Department of Labor and the United States Congress reconsider the proposed closure of the Earl C. Clements Job Corps Center in Morganfield, Kentucky.
Motion to approve, please.
So move.
Do we have,
Second.
we have a motion in 3 seconds?
Yeah.
All right.
This is big.
I would like to just kick off the discussion on this one, and then you all are welcome to fill in with some comments. But you hear lots of things that people try to cling on to justify the closure of the Job Corps. There have been lots of information floating around the Facebook and the internet and stuff. You've got to, as with anything, statistics can be dangerous. And they can also be used to tell whatever story you want to tell. And so, when you look online and somebody's talking about they have a 38% graduation rate. Well, first of all, the local one has a higher graduation rate than that. But second of all, they altered the way they present their program as a result of COVID, which kind of drug them down for a few years.
And so they're cherry picking the worst year for graduation rate to show, to try to justify and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, for me, the service that the Job Corps provides the region and extends out to other states is invaluable to us, to Union County, to neighboring states. You know, you're trying to take at-risk people who are younger in age and get them a leg up and get them some education, some training, some work, some experience. The average person who leaves there, it's not like they're making a fortune, but the average person who leaves Job Corps and graduates program makes about $17 an hour, which is a good starting wage for somebody who's starting out in life. And it's more than double the minimum wage, which is good. They do so much for our community that I asked for this to be on our agenda, and we talked with the fiscal court, and they voted to approve it this morning. I think it's just something that's very important and very needed, and I do not think the answer is to go and eliminate the program when you're talking about cutting waste, because I don't think the program is wasteful. I think there is waste within the program potentially that could be addressed. And the way that you address waste is not by eliminating something, especially something with such good merit and a good cause and good results. It's you analyze it and you make it better. And so that's the message I think that we want to try to deliver to our federal counterparts, is how important this is to our community, how important it is to our region. We appreciate what they do, and if they're going to make sizable cuts, that this not be included on that list. And so I'll be voting in favor of it, but I would like to open it up to the rest of the commission. If you all have any comments or questions or suggestions or anything about this particular thing, it'd be...
I know I've used students from the culinary department before. They worked at Rookies, and there's several restaurants that, I think there's some currently now using these students. And it's great training for them, and then when you get in a bind, it's really helpful for us. So I've had nothing but success from them. And I know Union County uses those kids for a lot of events, for nonprofit events, public events, where they do the cooking. So.
Anybody else have any?
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I think every program has negatives associated with it, but in my opinion, estimation, it seems like the positives partly outweigh the negatives. Not to be political, because I know, we're nonpartisan up here, and we try to toe the middle line, but you hear all these arguments about immigration and other things, and the argument is that, let's quit helping other countries and quit sending money there because we'd rather help our own. Well, damn it, this is a good opportunity to help your own, and you're not doing it. So that's all I got to say.
I just like to second everything you said, Mayor, and add one thing. I've never seen any kid counted as waste. That word, children and waste, don't go together. I don't care what it takes. I think every kid is worth saving.
Yeah.
And to go back to the graduation rate, you're taking kids that are on their last leg.
That's right.
So you're not getting the cream of the crop. So if you have a 50% graduate rate, that's phenomenal, because you're not going to get 90%.
Pre-COVID, they were at 60,
Yeah.
roughly. If you look at baseball, for example, the best baseball player average-wise to ever play hit what, 402, 403, something like that?
403, I think.
Yeah, and nobody was like, well, let's get rid of the waste in his swing, and I don't know. I just, it's a really good cause. I'm happy that it's on the agenda. Do we have any other comments or questions?
60% that graduate,
Yeah,
they're all going off in careers.
Yeah.
They've been trained for careers, so they're helping society, whereas they weren't before, probably.
And one of the things I know very well, if you allow them kids, the percentage that we're talking about getting rid of, those chances of them doing something to people who go to work every day and are positive is going to increase, because they're going to do something negative. And what I say by that is, I remember coming home and I asked Lily, I said, who took my VCR? Lily said, what do you mean? I said, I bought an $800 VCR when they first came out, and it was gone. And it scared me to death because somebody had been in my house. That's going to be that percentage. When they close down all those Job Corps and kill kids' second chances, they're going to do something to people like regular folks who are trying to make it and they didn't get the second chance. And you may come home and say, oh, wow, somebody took my TV. Somebody did this. Somebody broke in my car and stole my purse. Somebody, though, it's going to have a ripple effect somewhere down the line. You can't leave that many people, especially young kids. You can't leave them out there and no way to get on the merry-go-round. Because you do, we all going to feel it somewhere down the line. And our police department is still adding 3. We're going to have to add 23. So it's going to have an effect. So it's.
Anybody else? Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. City managers report.
Nothing today, sir.
We have anything under city attorney's report?
No, sir.
We have need for executive session.
I move the commission go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810, paragraph 1, subsection B, for the purpose of discussion that may lead to future acquisition of real property located in the vicinity of Clay Street, Washington Street, and Atkinson Street, and KR 61.810, paragraph 1, subsection B, for the purpose of discussion that may lead to future sale of real property located in the vicinity of 5th Street and Hellman Avenue, and pursuant to KR 61.810, paragraph 1, subsection F, for the discussion that may lead to the appointment of an individual employee.
We have a second?
Second.
Actually, go ahead and, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Just a little instruction, we're going to stay in here for the executive session. It'll probably last 20 to 30 minutes, and we will most likely come back with some sort of action on one of the topics that we discuss. So we are now in executive session. Thank you. Good. All right, I need a motion to come out of executive session, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, we are now back in regular session, and we have a municipal order.
Municipal order number 48-25, municipal order approving sales and purchase contract between the City of Henderson, Kentucky and Allstate Tower Incorporated for the purchase of approximately 2.29 acres of real property for the sum of $30,000 in cash. Allstate will clean up and paint the railroad bridge over Water Street for the amount of $92,420 and authorizing mayor to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Buzzy, do you mind to come up and, I know we've discussed this a lot, but we haven't discussed this out front yet. Can you give us kind of a thorough overview of what we're looking at here?
Yes. As y'all are aware, we currently have a lease with Allstate Tire for 2.29 acres that is located adjacent to our former Public Works facility between there and Canoe Creek. The purpose of that lease was to support Allstate Tire and Pittsburgh Tank and Tire business expansion, which created new jobs. With that being said, Mr. Johnston came back, and in order to continue to facilitate expanding his business, he felt the need that the property acquisition was important to his company and not have a lease agreement. And so going forward, to support economic development and their viability and their location on Howman Avenue, it's recommended that the city proceed with selling that 2.29 acres. During the discussions with Mr. Johnston, I inquired, because the business that they're in, they paint water tires. And I inquired as to the technical side of painting structures that contain rust and things of that nature, and asked his opinion about the railroad bridge that not only crosses Water Street but also over Main, Elm, and Green Street. And so Mr. Johnston came back and provided a proposal to the city that in exchange for the purchase of the property, he would, at a discounted price, provide the necessary services to clean the current surface of the bridge girders that cross over these 4 streets. And he gave us a price for each road crossing. And with that being said, it was to clean it, prime it, and give it a coat of paint. Realize that anything we do touching the railroad bridge, we have to get a permit from CSX. I have been in contact with CSX. We will make application to them to proceed forward. But it's staff's recommendation that the cost to do so in this situation is pretty a good deal for us. And the reason being is we have talked to other painting contractors in the past, and no one will touch a railroad structure due to the required insurance to work on or around their properties. Pittsburgh does have those insurance limits that cover them. The other thing in our previous conversations on Water Street specifically, and what I'm recommending today to the commission, is we do Water Street only. And as we previously discussed, there's 2 spans. There's a span that goes across Water Street, and then there's the second span between the curb of Water Street and the river's edge, where the first superstructure pier comes out of the river. So with that being said, and it being visible from both Sunset Park as well as the former Station 1 property, felt the need, if we're going to do this, let's do it all at one time. Thus, with that being said, what Mr. Johnson has agreed to do, and if it is acceptable with y'all, we would take the $30,000 cash payment for the property, set it aside, allow him to go in and do the scope of work that we've all agreed to, and then in return, we would take that set-aside money, deduct it from the price to do the painting, and what it would end up net cost to the city would be approximately $62,000.
And this was a difficult one to quantify, just to let you guys know, because we weren't able to find another paint contractor that's done business with us that would do that project or get a quote from. But Buzzy and I both spent a good amount of time on the phone talking to other cities about painting projects, railroad projects, things like that. A project similar to this one, there were none no other cities that we talked to that were able to get a quote less than six figures on this. And then to give you an idea of how costly it can be, another city, I don't want to mention them or anything, but another city that we spoke with is doing a bridge over 4 lanes, kind of like the US 60 bridge would be, the Green Street Bridge. And it was $1 million was the quote that they got to do that. I mean, the quotes to do this are just ridiculous. And so after looking at the quotes and comparing them to other cities, I think we're getting a pretty good bargain here. And I think we're getting a decent price for the property that we're going to be giving or selling to them in exchange as a part of this too. So I'm very comfortable with it. And I think what we're going to do and what we've been talking about is taking one blighted area there on Water Street in an otherwise just beautiful expanse of Riverwalk and soon-to-be distillery and all these other things. I think just a simple coat of paint and making it look better is going to make a real huge difference there on Water Street. I think it really will.
I do too.
We have talked to Tim Skinner, who we utilize from time to time, but he's also the designer of the new distillery. So one thing we will bring back to the Board of Commissioners, 2 or 3 color choices to paint the structure. So we will do that somewhere in the near future. Please realize the permit process with CSX takes time. This could be a fall project. It just depends how quick we can get it turned around.
Could be, if things don't go our way, it could be a spring project.
It could be.
Could be, just depends, because there's a lot of people that have to give us approval for it. But it's coming, and I like your approach. The last thing I'll say, because I know we all want to get out of here, but I like your approach of just doing the one. He's given us numbers to look at for the other railroad bridge overpasses there on 4th Street. And if we like the way that this turns out, we might want to revisit those other areas in the future. But I think it's a good, cautious, conservative step on our part to just do the one for now, see how it turns out, and see what the community feedback is for it. And if there's an appetite to attack the other ones, we'll take a look at it at a later time. Good deal. Any other questions or anything? Did we get a motion in a second? All right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Anybody have any comments they'd like to add to this meeting? I have one.
Andy.
Oh, yeah, Andy Fest starts tomorrow. Please go. It's a great lineup this year. I've got one, and it's something that we've been discussing kind of internally. I have spent 7.5 years on the commission now, and I've never had anyone question our parking spot ordinance in terms of how many parking spots we require for certain developments. And we've had 3 in the past month of people questioning our parking spot ordinances. One, for example, is a gentleman who is wanting to put in place a laundromat, and our current parking spot requirements require 1 for every set of machines. So for every washer and dryer pair, he has to have 1 parking space, which would lead him to need 16 parking spots. If you compare that to an Owensboro, for example, their parking spot ordinance says 1 space for every 6 machines. Not set of machines, but 6 machines. So it's basically three times more lenient than ours. And if that were in place, he'd only need 5 or 6 parking spots at one time for his development. Would make it a little easier in his location. There were other examples. A homeless shelter was asking why they needed a parking spot for every 2 beds whenever the vast majority of their clientele do not drive. And so lots of these are reasonable questions. And I think we've had a lot of discussions over the past couple of years about being business friendly, right? And nobody wants to bring up that term because it's a stain and it seems like a go-to for people who don't get their way. But we've done a lot of things procedurally. We have the Thursday morning meetings, we have, we've done a lot of things to try to make it better. One thing that we haven't done in a long time is do a good, thorough review of our codes and what we're requiring of our people as they're compared to cities around us. And so what I would like to request from codes and planning, and I realize that what I'm asking is not a 2-week thing. This is more like a possible 1 to 2 year thing if it's done correctly. But I would like for our codes and our planning first to take a look at the parking spot ordinance. To see if we can make some reasonable and logical changes that are appropriate to our community that will help in the situations that we've got before us, and to do that in kind of short order. But in addition to that, I'd like for city management, codes, and planning to design some kind of process and come back to us and let us know what that process is going to be to take a look at what we're asking of our developers in this city. Take a good, strong look at it as compared to cities around us, and to go in with the intention of making changes that will not be a detriment to the community, but will make it easier to do business in Henderson. Because I think at the core of everything, we can dress everything up that we want, but until we address those specific things and what we're requiring of our people, I don't think we can achieve the level of business friendliness that we want. And so Dawn, I don't think we need a motion at this point, or do we, to do any of that? Okay. At this point, I just want to make sure that the rest of the commission is okay with that directive, because it is going to create some work for them, but I think it's valuable work for us.
One thing that we did, when we first did the East End, we first started years ago, and that little store on Madison Street, and there were some other businesses said they couldn't open up a business because they would need 20 or 12 parking spaces.
Right.
They didn't have the room. And we made concessions for them, and it's worked out good. So those type of things we could probably do quicker.
Yeah, well, and other cities are making more use of, like a Board of Zoning and Adjustments, for example. So if somebody wants to do a development and it doesn't comply with our parking spot ordinance, then in that scenario, they could take it to BOZA for review and possible change with their own circumstance. And so however it's done, I just want to make sure that we are being as friendly as we can to developers, because we've got a lot of development to be had in Henderson over the next year to 2 to 5 years. And I want to make sure that we take advantage of it. So that's all I've got to say. Anybody else? We're all good? I'll take a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
This meeting is